Any? Any public, no public comments? We don't have enough of our people here, so anyway.
Yeah,
We're looking for a motion to adopt our agenda.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, approval of minutes of prior meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve, but I have one question. I just got done reading them and on the financial report under the county levy. Was that a misprint or is that what we have, $1,040?
That's what it was. That's what it was looking to be that day,
Oh,
that
that
moment
day.
in time.
Oh, okay, I
Yes.
thought maybe that.
Yes. That was the balance that we had as of then.
Oh, okay,
That's not the current balance as of today, but
okay,
it was that day.
okay, that's what I was wondering.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
And is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, moving to reports. Any reports from the board members? Mary Melodzik just stopped in and she's going on vacation, as you probably know, for a month, and she'll be back though in May. For what is it, 2 or 3 days,
Oh, a week.
a week?
Yes,
Right,
until the end of May.
right.
Yeah.
So we won't say goodbye to her yet.
Right.
She is returning.
Already did.
Did you?
I quit her.
You're done with it. But I did join from this browser, Barry.
No, do the client.
Download the WebEx.
Yeah, but you should have it installed on there.
Sorry.
All right, do you need more time that we?
No, go ahead.
No, okay. Any other reports? Okay, advocacy issues.
Okay, I'm gonna pass this off to you so you can make sure that I'm set up there. Got it?
Yep.
Okay. Hopefully you all received the email I sent you about the Wisconsin Elders, Task Force. That's the biggest thing that's going on right now. Then we did do also a front page on the newsletter about it as well. And these are the primary issues that the Elder Task Force is taking a look at and, concerning. So all of these passed the Assembly. And now it's just the Senate who is really gonna, they say that they're gonna, should have a decision made one way or the other by the end of next week. So if you haven't already studied up on it or made sent a message either by email or by calling, it really would be beneficial if you could, because this is really like, if they don't take action next week, they're saying they won't take action at all. And it's really close, like, for example, the funding that supports the falls prevention one is tied with EMS. So it's called Grants for Community Emergency Medical Services and Falls Prevention Awareness and Initiatives. And it includes $200,000 to award a falls prevention awareness and initiative granted each fiscal year for the next 2 years to the Wisconsin Institute for Healthy Aging, and $600,000 to create a pilot program to fund 6 municipal emergency medical services to create and hire a community paramedic or community EMS practitioner. So doesn't mean that Washington County would be one to get the EMS funding, but the falls prevention would certainly help support our programs. Because if the Wisconsin Institute for Healthy Aging goes away, our programs will eventually probably go away as well, because it all funnels through there. So we're so close, like we're really, really, really close. So if any of you have it in you to make those calls or send an email, it would be greatly appreciated. There's been a lot of people, a lot of advocacy around that. And then we talked about this a little bit, but you remember we talked last month about the kiosks. So there's, legislation related to that to put some safety things in place. I was reading more about that. I mean, oh my gosh, that's scary. When you stop to think how easily people can lose their money. I don't understand why people do it, but that, the drug repository program, some financial exploitation of vulnerable adults, and then grants for economic support. So that supports our income maintenance workers upstairs. And we work very closely with them through the functional screen and enrollment into long-term care. So all of these are really positive things. So I brought some extra newsletters if you need more information about it. If you Google Wisconsin Elder Task Force, you'll get all of the information there as well.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments related to that or? Anyone else?
I have one.
Yeah, okay.
It was good that you put it's in the source so that
Yeah.
people have a chance at least to peruse it. You
Yeah.
kind of know what they kind of put it in a nutshell, so
Yes, yeah,
good job.
thank you. So that was advocacy. Was that advocacy?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know, do any of you have anything related to it that you want to talk about? Okay, that's all I have. for advocacy.
Okay, then we'll take you right on to report from the director.
Okay, do you mind giving that to Lisa? Yep, just a few things quick. Some of you may have met our new transportation coordinator, if you came in and happened to see him, no, not yet. So Mary, as Mary Pat said, Mary Malogic is retiring and she is going to be here through March 20th, full-time, and then we're granting her a leave of absence for a month. She had already had a month planned, and she was the person that said, hey, I'm willing to come back and finish training, which was really appreciated. So she'll be back then, you know, for some partial time during the last month. So we're very appreciative of that, and we'll let you know when her retirement gathering will be.
She'll be missed.
Yeah, yes. So Corey Schreiner is who we hired. He's from Red Granite. And I think I mentioned that last month. He's doing a great job with training. He's really catching on quickly. He's really eager to really understand the program and you know, help figure things out. So Mary and I would have previously, like when we were trying to work on that software program, we would sit really close to each other. And she's told me, she's like, well, he's not gonna, you know, do that. Well, next thing you know, I look in the office and he's right there. So, but he's really catching on quickly. And the first 2 weeks of training, we had all these weird incidents. First of all, we received our new van, the one from Cycle 49. Just they let you know, like, hey, by the way, we can be there next Wednesday. So that happened during his first 2 weeks. And then we had a driver have an incident, not with the vehicle, but he fell and tripped up going up some steps when he was helping a person bring in some groceries. And so we had to go through that process. And then Corey actually ended up hopping in the bus and finishing off the day of driving that day. So he's had all kinds of experiences already, so we think he'll do a good job.
Never scared him away.
Not yet, no, he,
I talked to somebody who had called in for questioning about transportation or whatever, and she was kind of surprised. She said that somebody else was answering the phone and whatever, and she said, oh, and so she talked, and to make a longer story short, he said that he did a very good job. And he was very efficient, very friendly, very everything else. And I didn't tell her why I was asking all these questions. And then she said, well, she said to him, well, please tell Mary hello. And all of a sudden Mary says, hello. She was real surprised, but it was good to hear that he had done a
Right.
great job.
yeah, I think he's a little nervous about the March 20th deadline, and I think I'm a little nervous about it because
Hey,
I'm the one he's gonna turn to when he doesn't know something, and it's like, am I gonna know, you know, so. Cause
It always does.
Yeah,
You don't have a choice.
correct, we'll figure it
That's
out,
right.
yep.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so that's
she's
how,
probably a phone call away.
yeah, that's what she says, yeah. She'll only charge me so much per call. So we're also preparing for our men's only lunch, which starts next Tuesday, and it's created quite some energy. Not necessarily from the people we wanted to have energy with, but so we're hearing that, you know, there's a lot of energy, excitement around it, which I thought was a positive thing, and I think it is a positive thing. But most of that excitement and energy is from the women who are not
I wondered.
invited to attend the event, and so apparently they're gonna protest next Tuesday. They're ordering pizza, they're gonna show up at the dining set. Dining set. So, I mean, it has them talking and
Sure.
they're excited about something other than complaining about the food, so I mean. It is on Tuesday, yes, so we were gonna be reaching out to any of our gentlemen here who, if you would be willing to come and help on especially the first day to kind of get things going, and you can come to as many as you'd like, but I don't know if Ruth reached out to, are you able?
Yeah, I am.
Yep, okay, good. And then Carl, you were on my list to come,
Why not?
but I knew you were coming here, so.
Planning on it, so.
Okay, good, great, thank you. We do have one person signed up for sure, we might have more, but we do have a gentleman signed up, that's never been to a dining center before, so,
Oh, that's even better.
yeah. Now, we did also schedule a women's series, a ladies' lunch to start later in May, so once they hear that, then they settle down a little bit.
Ah,
I think the reason why we went with Tuesdays at the senior center is because we were not getting people when we were closing down the Watoma dining on Tuesdays. And then all of a sudden, just before we started, it really ramped up and we started getting like 12, 15 people plus coming to the Watoma dining on Tuesdays, which of course, you feel bad, but we were already in motion with this other thing, so. We only are doing it for 6 weeks and it's a pilot to see how it goes and then we can decide if we wanna keep it going.
Well, if the men don't show up, then it's the women that must be attracting the men to show up.
Okay, well, maybe.
dragging them along.
So, and then if you did look at the newsletter, you would have seen their pop-up schedule is in here. So if you haven't seen it, you can take a peek at it. So we have, we tried something a little bit differently, and so we haven't really sat down to talk more about like some of the bigger events, like the potato bar type of pop-ups and things like that, but so we're actually calling the men's lunch series a pop-up series, our first series, and then then we have this other event that Valerie's doing on March 18th to just sort of create awareness around nutrition. It's National Nutrition Month. We have the Easter meal on April 1st. One of our pop-ups we're gonna do, did you guys know that there's a thing called Apple Pie Day on May 13th? Did you know about it? Yeah. So we're gonna do a bigger event related to Apple Pie Day. Of course, we have the Memorial Day meal, and then we'll look at starting that ladies' lunch series. We're also doing a caregiver skills fair on June 9th, I believe it is. We didn't know the date when we printed, but we're gonna call it a pop-up support for caregiver event, because we believe that the caregiver skills fair should not be just for caregivers only, but that we all as a community should learn about the skills that are needed so that we can help support the people that are in the caregiving position. So we're hoping that people will come to that are not currently caregivers, because at some point they probably will be, or they'll need care themselves, so it really doesn't hurt to learn about the skills related to it. And then we're gonna find some time here to sit down and talk about some of those other type of pop-ups like we've done in the past, and get that on the schedule for the summer and then into the fall.
These are all gonna be at regular locations, so they're not like you did with the lake side restaurant at one time, or nothing like that planned as well.
Right now, nothing like that planned, correct, yep. And I do wanna, at the nutrition sustainability meeting, I believe that's on April 1st as well. We'll spend some more time talking about pop-ups and then maybe have a separate meeting so that we can really dig into it a little bit deeper. But we were wanting to do these events and we thought, for some reason, this word pop-up seems to attract people. And so if we tie it to some of these other things, maybe it will help them. Maybe it will just help in general, kind of. So, yeah, so that's why we did it that way. And then Like I said, we've created some controversy about the men-only lunch, but we'll see how that all shakes out. See what kind of, you guys might be policing some, protest.
Tear gas.
Like,
Yeah.
Hippies, right? So.
I mean, I don't know, yeah. So any feedback on the pop-up schedule for right now? Yeah. Okay, when we talked to our nutrition council about they were all up in arms too about the fact that the men get a day and the women didn't, so. We said, well, did you look, did you see what's out here? And they hadn't seen that, so once they saw it, then they were okay, but they got super excited and now they're already planning like a fashion show and everything to go along with it.
oh, geez.
So we'll see what happens with that. Also, otherwise in April, our department is participating in Government Day, so that's where Watoma School and Tri-County School and I believe Wild Rose come. 2 different days, and then we do, Olivia does a little presentation on some of the dementia tools that we have, like how it actually feels or sounds to have dementia. So that, simulation event, so. We're preparing for that, and then there's we're gonna do another power of attorney, event with Human Services and Veterans on April 16th, so if any of you need to get your power of attorney paperwork completed, that'd be a good day to come. They're also gonna have a speaker that day. And I can't remember what the topic is, but they're having a speaker on something. Let's see, I think that's pretty much it for that. Yeah.
Nutrition Sustainability Work Group Update.
So we haven't met, we meet on April 1st, but we have, again, I think I reported last month that we merged 2 of our home delivered meal routes and Valerie was able to make that happen and she's monitoring it to see, but so far it doesn't look like it's having a negative impact, although of course, right after it, we had like 3 or 4 people that needed that route, want to, sign up for meals. So I was like, ooh, so, but right now she's worked everything out, so we're just kind of giving it some time to see how it goes, and then we'll report back with a little bit more detail. Of course, we talked about the pop-up events already, and then we're working pretty hard on the nutrition reorganization, so we've been working with the kitchen staff and getting input on the schedule redesign and all of that so that we can move forward with that process.
Has our new person, been doing well?
Which new person?
Or one in the Kelowna area?
Oh, as far as I know, yeah, I haven't heard anything otherwise, so,
Okay, good.
yeah. Mhm. Yeah, and I think, Hancock numbers, I might have reported last month, but Hancock numbers are definitely increasing.
Oh,
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
I know. So that's exciting. In fact, all of our numbers seem to be increasing right now for some reason, so,
Weather's getting better, maybe it's the airways coming out.
yeah, maybe something like that, or, yeah.
It was getting better.
Yeah. So, that's all on nutrition sustainability.
Okay, and we'll right into the financial report then, if you will, thank you.
Right, and we're gonna spend a lot of time on finances later, so I won't say too much right now, but even though I'm gonna report on 2025 later on the agenda, there still are minor little things that are being completed, and I'll explain that as we go through the process, so it's like 98% complete right now, but there are just a few little tweaks that are being made and are related data activity, so we'll talk about it a lot today and you'll have a good idea where we're at. And then, by April, everything will be completely closed. And then we have our dates for the auditors coming later in, sometime in May. So we're preparing for the auditors to come as well. We have to upload everything to a portal. So it's a lot of stuff that we upload. So, that's pretty much it for financial report.
Any unfinished business review and input of the department's strategic planning goals?
Yay, so we finally get to talk about these. We've had this on the agenda for like 2 months now, right? Here, you probably didn't bring your copies back. I know I passed these out last time. This is the summary. And Lisa has one already, so we're good. This is like the little short version. This is the short version of what we came up with, and again, from this group, these three were on the strategic planning, Jeannie, Mary Pat, and Carl. So, they were a part of the full process. This kind of just breaks it down into a little summary version. So our main goals are, goal number one is that by December 31st, all meal sites will reach a self-sustaining level. And so what really does that mean? Well, it means that if they're not getting at least a minimum of 8, preferably 12 people on a somewhat regular basis, that we'll look at closing those sites potentially, or switching them over to some other type of a meal option. And, or I guess you could say, part of that is to create a welcoming environment, making sure that we're training the staff that what really does a welcoming environment mean. They might think that they're doing a welcoming environment, but if you have people fighting over whether a seat is reserved or, things like that, then that might not be coming across as welcoming to some, so. And you've had that experience, so, yes.
Great girls.
Yes, and then looking at more community engagement and volunteer recruitment for the sites so that we have enough people that can be welcoming and greeting people and helping out with things that are needed. Continuing to educate around the benefits of using a meal site. We understand how powerful the dining experience can be for people who truly utilize it to its extent, who come regularly and who have conversation to get, friendships developed and all of that. But I think some people just look at it as, well, I can still cook, I can make my own meal. And they don't understand all of the other benefits of why it's important. So that ongoing education about that.
Sometimes I think it's easier just to stay home,
Mm.
Cause why do they always, bombard the pop-ups, which is good, but then they don't come for the men.
Yeah,
And I think that comes in, they just don't wanna get out, or they don't wanna.
just easier to stay home, like
Yeah.
you said, yeah, or else they don't wanna eat at that time of the day
Right,
on a regular basis.
or it's too much food.
Or not
Or
the,
not enough.
not the right kind of food.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And then obviously part of that is exploring the structure for service delivery, so that's, do we transition to a restaurant style in certain locations, or do we, any of the other possibilities that we've talked about, so. That being something we had already been working on, I'm glad it's part of this strategic planning process, because it's a big goal for us, very time-consuming goal, but very worthwhile goal, so. And then the next one, goal number 2, is by 2027 budget, we will increase revenue and or decrease expenses by at least $30,000. So that means by end of July, August, when I present my budget, then I've reduced the budget by 30,000, which I believe we'll do through the reorganization, the nutrition reorganization. We'll hit that 30,000 for sure, and probably more. Now, I can't guarantee that it'll be all levy related, because we have so many other funding sources too, and so they go up and down all the time. But I do think that we will be able to reduce levy. How do I say it? We'll be able to reduce expenses for the nutrition program by 30,000. Will that result in a complete 30,000 reduction in levy? Maybe not, because they're also gonna increase salary and benefits, maybe, possibly. There's other expenses that are gonna increase, and so it might not be an exact 30, but the concept will be there. But I do think we can get above 30,000, so I'm hoping to go in. My goal is that I go in with a no county levy increase, because that's always positive, and hopefully a decrease. But there are other expenses that I know are coming in, other programs outside of nutrition that are gonna increase, so, but we'll talk about that as we go. So use a work group structure to look at various department program efficiencies, explore other funding sources, review fee structure and donation strategies, and look for partners to help with service needs. So as an example, we are already reviewing the transportation fees right now and looking at possibly actually altering an entire process that we've always charged for volunteer drivers. We've always charged, we have a rate, like a rate book that we use from post office to post office is how we figured the rate. Cause I think in the past they didn't have computers. So now we're looking at, we probably would benefit if we were to go from actual driver's home
Sure.
to the, and then, back. But it's gonna take some extra time to figure out what that exact mileage is, but I would think that we would benefit from that, not lose on that, so. So we're looking at all of those things. I'm looking at 2 other funding sources for transportation right now that might be possible to work into our program. Yeah, and so we'll continue to kind of go through all of these steps as we go. The third one is by the end of 2027, we will increase attendance at evidence-based and supportive programming by 25%. I was actually a little surprised that this goal, that this became a goal, but it was based on the feedback from the SWOT analysis. So basically we'll take a baseline of where we were. I think we'll use like where we were, maybe in the fall of 2025, because that's when we were writing the goal, and kind of see what our attendance was at the classes then, and so then we can look at whether we're increasing them over time or not.
Discussion said there wasn't, like 1 or 2 people would probably meet that goal to increase that percentage.
I suppose it could, yeah. If you had 0 people coming to
Right.
something and so that's not too, but I mean, I think we're gonna take it seriously that we want to, have some measurable increase. So if we're providing those classes, like we really went all out last summer, well, not last summer, end of summer, early fall, they were doing a powerful tools for caregivers class. They had not been able to fill that class in 2 or 3 years, and they were gonna lose their certification to be trainers. And I said, we're either going to fill this class or we're going to stop doing it, because if we're not filling it after 2 to 3 years, what is the point of this? So we all sat down, we brainstormed, we went through this huge, outreach process, who's gonna do what. And we tried all these different things, and we actually had 12 people sign up and take the class. That was a huge increase, so.
Can't believe you wouldn't have more. I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds like a very important class.
I think it's really hard for caregivers to commit.
Well, they're caring.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but once they take it, then they're like, oh, why didn't I do this before?
Good point.
Because they learn about all kinds of resources that we have, and they also learn how important it is to take care of themselves first, because if you don't take care of yourself, you're not gonna be able to take care of somebody else. So, but that was a meaningful increase to go from
Yeah.
0 after multiple years to 12, so.
What was the difference? Marketing?
Yes, and then we tried to track like what of the different marketing things we did. And they just said it, they asked the people, they all had a different answer as to what they saw and what enticed them. We did a radio ad, we did
Oh,
a big spread in the newsletter, we did ads in the paper, we tried everything.
so you can use that maybe as a template for other types of programs.
Yeah, yep,
Nice.
but there is some cost
Sure.
to it, so. But yeah, and then we also offered a free meal, take-home meal, so I don't know, that.
Sign me up.
We got my mother living with us.
Yeah.
My wife attended those classes and she thought they were great.
Oh,
Yeah.
good, okay.
Good to hear.
Yeah, that is good to hear. And then the 4th goal is develop 1 new community partnership to address an ADRC identified unmet need in 2026. So under ADRC services, under the contract for ADRC services, we are required to be tracking unmet needs. And an example of that was when we talked about in the past about like people who couldn't didn't have anyone to, take their garbage to
Right.
the dump because the garbage company stopped providing the regular size residential garbage cans. And we, all of
We
us,
had that post office, remember when they moved
Yeah.
mailboxes to the
Yes.
end of the road?
yes, yep. Right now too, for example, the food pantry used to get us supplies, free supplies of undergarments, and we gave those out a lot. And now they're not doing that anymore, so that's on our unmet need list, and so identifying community support or community options that can help. We're not gonna be able to solve all unmet needs, but we will, decide which ones we think have a chance, and it can bring those to this board as well and talk about some of those unmet needs as we go. Once we finalize the list that we have currently, we're gonna have another discussion around it. I can bring it to the board and we can let you see what's on the list and see what you think and see what you think we should be spending our time on. We're having a community discussion, I forgot to report this, next Thursday related to transportation as one of our task force goals. And, it's related to discharges from hospitals and lack of transportation and, also getting people to drug court. So we're facilitating the discussion, but we're not as a transportation committee saying we're going to solve the problem. Because the county would have to kick in a lot of money for us to do that. They're probably not gonna do that. So we're looking at this as a community issue and what ideas are out there? How can we work together as a community to try to come up with some solution? So that meeting is next Thursday from 9 to noon, and you all are welcome if you'd like to attend it as well. Not required to, but you're welcome to sit in and listen. We have representative from the hospital coming, from the county board. From the courts, yeah, yep. And right now it's scheduled for the classroom, but we might be getting large enough that we might need to move across the way to the other side.
Now, last month you reported there was a organization that used to support some of the transportation that no longer does for the county.
Oh, that was Inclusa, how they're no longer going to be contracting with us for transportation because they're going through the MTM.
Does that affect us greatly or not?
Yes, it does. It's a loss of about $10,000 to $11,000 in revenue. And then it affects the clients that need that transportation for rides. I did listen into the town hall meeting for potentially contracting with MTM. And I try really hard not to be negative, but I mean, it was awful. Is the only way I can describe it. And I had talked with them way back in the beginning when they had first started doing Medicaid transportation. And it was just a flashback. It was just, I don't know how they're gonna be ready by April 1st, number one. Not even a chance that we would get even close to our full cost reimbursement. Even though they wouldn't say what they reimburse. They don't reimburse for no-shows. It's basically our loss if we go to somebody's home and they're like, oh, I can't go, I changed my mind or whatever. Then we get no reimbursement for that. So they don't reimburse for no-shows. They don't reimburse for unloaded miles. So if you bring a one-way trip, and then you come back, you don't get any reimbursement for that. So so our transportation committee talked about it and we have decided, we're not saying we won't contract with them, but we're not doing it right away. We're gonna kind of just wait this out a little bit and see. The participants do have the opportunity to switch MCOs and go with a different MCO if they really want to use transportation provided by us, but I mean, that is an option that they have. So we'll kind of see. There's not that many clients that Inclusa has here, so we're not talking about a lot of people. We're talking about like 5 to 8 people. So, but for us, it's a loss in revenue. That's gonna be a tough deal. The only reason I'm not in a full-fledged panic about that is because we're doing this nutrition reorganization and I know that we're gonna have savings this year. And so I know that department-wide will pick up that loss. But I need to figure something out for the next year, you know,
But if we don't, as a whole, we don't contract with them,
yeah.
does that leave no transportation for these people, or is there alternatives?
They would call the MTM program
Okay,
and go
do
through
it
that.
directly and then not.
Yes, yeah. But when I say awful, I mean, I don't know if you ever participate on Zoom meetings where then there's chatting going on. It was like, they never show up to pick people up. They drop them off and then they don't pick them up and they don't show up to take them to their appointment and they don't pick up their phone and they don't, you know, they have a 99% complaint free, that they market, but it's, I think, because they don't pick up their phone. So they kind of register the complaints, you know, like being serious, yeah. So we're concerned, a little bit concerned, but that's why we're gonna kind of just wait and see and kind of see what we're hearing.
Are there alternatives for us? I mean,
Yeah.
can we provide a service somehow through somebody else or work with them, or what do we do?
Mm.
Nothing. Just-
I mean, we could do it if we want to, but it's gonna cost us money and then they're eligible for MTM transportation because they're on family care and they choose the provider that they choose is Inclusa. Because they choose Inclusa, they have to go with who Inclusa uses
I see.
to provide transportation. That's where I said they have an option to switch to a different provider. So My Choice or Community First or whatever, Community Care. And then Lakeland are the other ones, but they, otherwise they stay with Inclusa, then they have to use MTM as their provider. So, for the rides that, Inclusa authorizes, and that's typically just medical trips. Every once in a while, they'll do some type of social, authorization for social rides. So it will be confusing, I think, too, for the participants. For medical trips, you have to call MTM. But for anything else, if you're not authorized through Inclusa, then you can still call us and we can do those type of trips for you. So I think it's gonna get,
Are these pretty much people that are not ambulatory? They need wheelchair access or?
I don't think there's anyone that's not ambulatory. So, but they're typically the people that we provide transportation to are either, an adult that's now 55 or older, previously was 60 or older, or else, somebody with a disability. So it could be a cognitive disability, a developmental disability, it could be a physical disability, so. But we're getting a little bit off track and that is where the, meets the unmet needs. And so you three were on the group. Is there anything else you wanted to say about this?
Remember?
Yeah, it's been so long.
No, it took some time and it was a lot of give and take and it was very well directed by Tom. Was it? No.
Tim,
Tim,
yeah, from UW
did a
Extension.
very good job.
Very nice, yeah.
But the committee did too.
Yeah, we did well, I thought, yeah,
Good brainstorming. Yeah, it was.
We never got through without Tim's guidance though.
for sure,
And that's what he does.
for sure,
I
yeah.
mean, that's his full-time job. He's very good at it.
Yeah,
Very good, yeah.
there is a longer, like this is the short summary version, and then there is the strategic plan that goes through and it kind of breaks down those goals and says, okay, who's responsible for those? And so, for example, creating a welcoming environment at the dining centers. So one strategy around that is create a document that outlines what a meal site welcoming environment looks, sounds, and feels like. And the responsible person is Valerie, and then they have a due date on there. And then the second one is set up an opportunity for training site managers. And then the third one is create a fidelity check for determining welcomeness at meal sites. And the fourth one is obtain initial rating of the welcoming fidelity of all meal sites. And so between Ruth and Valerie, now they may engage other people into the process as well. And then the county does have these up on the website, and then it will show like, did we meet our completion date? So one of them is March 31st coming up. We're probably not gonna meet that, so then we would just revise that date and put a new date in there so that if anybody is monitoring it from the public, they can be seeing that there is some activity taking place related to these goals, so. I asked Barry to, have a video, it's an 8-minute video that Tim put together related to the boards and what your responsibility is now as a board. So we're gonna take a little listen of that, if that's okay. And I can pass this around if anybody wants to see that.
All right. Welcome to the last video of the series. And what I feel like is maybe the most important one. So in this video, I'm going to help you understand how you can support your departments in the pursuit of the Waushara County vision. First things first, and most important, please practice curiosity. Yes, there is accountability involved, but do it in a way that searches for information and answers instead of being accusatory. Like, why haven't you finished this goal yet? Or why did you use this strategy? Things like that. That comes across as accusatory. I encourage you all to be very curious about the plans. Again, a lot of work has gone into these. And so be curious about that work behind what's in these plans. So here are a few things you can ask to help you maintain the curiosity about where the information in the plan came from. So number one, you can ask about where the goals came from. Within that, the department will be able to provide the data, the SWOT data, whatever other data they have to show that that was an issue statement. And they can even reach out to me. I also have that archived, the issue statement work archived, and I can help with that as well. Number two, you can ask how the tasks are progressing or why changes may have been made. You might see in the plans that a department head may strike through a task and rewrite it. That's because we're fine-tuning all the time as we go. Or they might change a date. Maybe the task was supposed to be accomplished by December 31st of this year, but they changed it to February 28th of next year, gave themselves an extra 2 months. And you can see that where it's the date had a strike through and then a new date was put. Just ask why. Well, why did you change the date? And look for the reasons behind everything in the plan. And then finally, ask about the data supporting the goals in their plan. I kind of mentioned that already, but remember, everything is data driven. And so that data is accessible in plans. So next, as an oversight committee member, you may have ideas that weren't thought of already by the team, the department strategic planning team. It is okay to share those ideas. However, it wouldn't be best practice to expect the department head to make those changes independent of the department team. In fact, I would discourage that. I'll explain a little bit more on the next slide, but here are some ideas of things you could share in your oversight committee meetings. First one there being, do you have a different evidence-based or best practice strategy that might work? If you think you have one or you feel you have one, there's nothing wrong with sharing that and bringing that up and saying, as a department team, did your team think of XYZ, whatever it is? Number two, do you have a different way to measure goal progress? Some goals are measured through actual metrics like measurements as to customer satisfaction, for instance. Others are measured by benchmarks. We expect to be this far on the goal by this time. And then you might even have other ideas. If you do, that's okay, that's good. I would share those with the department head, but please don't expect that department head to just unilaterally make that change in the plan. I'll tell you a little bit more about why in just a second. Practicing patience is really important. Nothing's going to change overnight, okay? These plans, I think the longest goal out of all the plans that I've seen so far is the end of 2028. So there's not going to be change overnight. It takes time to move the wheels on a department to get things done. Also, the point about department heads should not make unilateral changes to goals or strategies. The reason for that is really number one, that would erode or undermine the trust of the team and the community. Remember, these plans were created with community members at the table, with department staff at the table, all working together to come up with this plan. If the department head just makes a unilateral change, that can really erode and undermine that trust with that team. So what do you do then in that case? This is what I would suggest. So if you suspect based on data, remember everything's data driven. If you do suspect that change is needed, make that suggestion to the department head at the oversight committee meeting so that it can be taken to the department strategic planning team for consideration and possible implementation. What that does is it sends a strong message of teamwork and trust between all of you. Do what's best for the people of our community. You might have a fantastic idea, but it's important that that idea go to that team that created the whole plan in the first place, with the public at the table, with the staff at the table, and then using that idea to implement within the plan. So again, I think it's definitely best that department heads don't make changes around goals and strategies without consulting the team first. I should say tasks, yes. In tasks, department heads can change tasks. That's okay. It's the bigger pieces of the goals and strategies that you should avoid doing that unilaterally. So in conclusion, on the last video here, an incredible amount of work went into creating these plans. To get this many plans done this quickly took a lot of coordination with department heads and stuff. And the fact that it went as quickly as it did is phenomenal. And I want you to know that the department heads worked really hard to make this happen. So please let them know you appreciate that. You appreciate their hard work getting their teams together, setting up scheduling times for workshops, doing all of those things. A lot of work went into that. Next thing to remember is that all the identified issue statements are data-based, and they always should be. An issue statement shouldn't just be somebody's whim or crazy idea. It should be rooted in data. Third, stay curious and not accusatory. Ask the questions as to why is this the way it is? Or what's the story behind this goal or this strategy? Fourth thing, please feel free to share your ideas with the department heads so that they can take those ideas back to the team and potentially implement those within the plan. And then finally, practice patience. Walk along with your department heads as they work through the process of improving their department. Be patient with them as they try different things. Maybe one strategy doesn't work and they need to drop that one and try a different one. That's okay. This is going to take time, but I think the big piece to know is that they are all working towards the Waushara County vision. So thank you all. If you have any questions or need help, please reach out to me. I'm available to help you. Give me a call here at the office, stop in, whatever works for you. I'm happy to help. But thank you all.
There are 2 other videos where he goes into greater depth about the process that we went through, and if any of you want to listen to those, I can forward those to you and you feel free to have at it, but it was quite that would have been like a good half hour plus, so. Any thoughts on the process? I guess I would like to know from you as my board, how would you like me to move forward as far as reporting back to you? I think it's important that at least at a minimum quarterly, we are touching base on any progress, and then I can make sure that the website is updated as well. But what would you like from me? What would work best from you as my oversight committee?
I guess I'd be most concerned where if you're seeing stuff that's not gonna be not working. If we're not gonna hit a budget thing like that, I'd be more inclined to look at that or interested in that. The failures rather than successes, I guess, is more concerned.
Where we get stuck and maybe can realize that this isn't going the way we thought it might, and,
Exactly.
yeah, okay. Would you like me to report like once a quarter then, or?
Yeah, I think.
That's right.
I think,
Yeah.
I think a quarter
Quarterly.
every would be fine, because this is all big stuff. It's gonna
Yeah.
take so much time, but,
Yeah,
and you do such a good job at informing us of different things, so I think just keep it going.
quarterly update, touch
Yeah.
on the successes, but dig into the things that maybe are needing.
Falling short.
Yeah,
Whatever,
okay,
the goal.
can definitely do that. Do you like it when other staff members come and do the reporting as well?
Yes.
You do, okay, all right,
Definitely.
great. All right, anything else on that then? Do you think that these are good goals that we're working on, John? For those of you that weren't a part of it?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah,
I mean, I think they're attainable, but yet it still makes you wanna have to reach a little bit.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and
Cause you to grow.
And also they fit with, for the most part, they fit with our aging in the plan goal requirement as well as our 5-year transportation planning goals that we have as well, so.
And you said that $30,000 revenue increase or decrease has to be kind of figured out by the end of July, is that correct?
Yes, because that's the county budget process, so. So
It's getting close.
I know, yeah. That one I feel pretty confident about, just because I know we're gonna do this reorganization and everybody is very supportive of the process and everyone can see how it's gonna work. So I already ran simple numbers, and while we have to build some other things in right now, it was somewhere between 50 and 60,000 that we would be saving from the program.
Wow.
So, but we're gonna have to build some other things in there, so I don't know exactly where it will settle, but.
Makes me feel good that you're so positive about that, that's attainable.
Yeah,
Because when I look at that, I think, gosh, that's a lot of money that,
I know.
you know, and you're so diligent with keeping everything, you know,
Yeah,
oh, gosh, yeah.
yeah, I think it's very helpful that the full team, like the kitchen team, they can see it as well.
Yes.
And Valerie can see it too, so that helps. So now it's just walking across the bridge and getting, putting all the pieces in place.
Yeah.
So,
Is reorganizing the source funding, and is that still something in the goals this year, or is that?
that is on the table. That's something we wanna be working on as well. We're looking at forming some type of a little work group on it, so,
Really good.
it's gonna be a tough one though. I don't wanna lead it.
Yeah.
I don't wanna lead that one because it's gonna be a tough
Yeah.
one. Gonna be such a divided opinion on it, so. But yes, it is something we definitely need to look at. Yep. Now, I don't know that we'll have a solution in time for the budget, but if we continue to work on it this year, then by next year's budget, then we could, yeah, for sure. Lots of goals, never run dry of goals, that's for sure. Cannot get bored on this job, that's. I've not been bored a day on this job since I went there. Yeah,
Sure,
not once.
just don't have enough time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I see your light on every once in a while when I go past, it's fast closing by how many hours, it's like,
When I see a car parked there on the weekend, I go, oh.
Oh, no.
That'd be
It's
what-
not always me though, but yeah. Sometimes you need quiet time, you know.
Yeah,
oh, gosh, yeah. Okay, so we're.
as long as it doesn't get to be too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can roll then on to new business, 25 financial and activity review.
Okay, so, before I pass this one handout out to you, I wanted to ask. So we have a over $2 million budget. And I wanted to ask, just off the cuff, what do you think is a good, percentage? What should my goal be to try to come within that budget? Either under or over? Like 1%, 0%, 3%, 5% under, 5% over, 10%. What do you think would be a fair number? What jumps out at you?
I thought when I used to do budgets, we always went between 5 and 10 over,
Okay. Oh, you always want over?
always. And then,
Shame on you.
well, that was how we started out.
Yeah.
Then we have to pare it back because
Yeah.
there's so many variables
Yeah.
and costs that you just can't determine ahead of time what they're gonna be.
Sure.
So you have to have that fudge factor in there, a
Yeah.
little wiggle room. And that's what I did, and it just always worked out. And I mean, there were times that we'd have to obviously pare it down, but
Yeah,
at least you have a baseline that you can work off of and go from there.
yeah.
I don't like to tell you that.
So, no. I obviously am gonna get as tight as we can, but.
Cause I always think when
Do
you
that till
prepare a
we-
budget, you anticipate that they're gonna tell you to cut, and so you are over.
Yes.
Well, I'm talking more about managing the budget, like, we have it, it's $2,072,000, so what percentage should I come in within? Obviously, I don't wanna go over budget, but let's say I did go over budget, what percentage would you think was fair for me to go over?
Oh, that way, I got you.
Or under.
I just don't see that being a reasonable goal. I just, I'm not going under, I wish I could say that, but I just don't see us trending that way as an economy.
Go under, yeah, okay. So I mean, for me, it's always like, I think like 3 to 7%, so anywhere in there. Like if I come in under budget by that much, I mean, if I hit it right on the nose, that's great too.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm gonna try to be like 3% under if possible. Just because you wanna have a little bit of room there, you don't wanna be breathing so tight at the end, right? But if I were to go over at times too, I wouldn't wanna go more than,
What's the
that.
consequence if you go over though? 'Cause
Well, it depends on what funding source you're turning
Have to
to.
raise the levy or increase funding opportunities.
Yeah, so like some departments would have to go to the county board and say, I'm gonna be 5 or 10% over. And then ask if they could take money out of the general fund to cover that, or they would probably go to Megan first and then they would talk it out.
So is there a contingent fund at the county level that would cover that if you?
They might cover it, yeah, but there is a general fund, yeah. We're a little bit different. This department is kind of separate from the general fund. And so we have our own unrestricted account, and right now we still have money in it. So we would be able to potentially go there to cover some expenses. So I've been doing this for a long time though, and I haven't had to go and ask for that. But I mean, it does get tight at times,
Oh, yeah.
So I can tell you that less than 2 weeks ago, I received what I don't even think is my final contract for 2025 from our regional office. And thank goodness it was for an increase in funding, but just as easily it could be for a decrease in funding. And it's coming at the beginning of March, for last year's over, it's over. The money has been spent. So I mean, it's just how it works with the grants, and so they're very vulnerable and all of that. So I just wanted to see what you would think. So I have this handout for you. We'll look at this first and then we're gonna look at some things on the screen. But this is as of sort of today, where we're at with 2025. This is really, really, really close. I think that there is a chance we might with a big capital MIGH and a T, we might get some additional revenue, because I did ask for some reobligated funds, and then we would get another amended contract, but I think this is probably final. There's a couple of amendments that still need to be made. I think I accounted for them manually, but just putting that out there in case I made an error of some kind. So the top section is the revenue for the department. And the first column is our original budget. So when I set the original budget, which would have been in July of 2024, for the 2025 year, we adopted a budget of $2,026,548. And this is just a very condensed version of the various revenue sources by category. And then throughout the year, we get contract changes, and the only amendments we make to the budget is if there's a contract change for the most part. So like if I budget that we're gonna bring in $10,000 in donations for a certain program, and we only get 8,000, we don't make an amendment for that. if we get 14,000 instead of the 10, we don't make an amendment for that. The only amendments we formally make are related to contract changes. So everything in that second column where it says transfers, that's gonna be related to amendment contracts, most of which are due to, grant funding. So where it says intergovernmental ARPA, 6,300, that was some additional ARPA money we didn't know we were gonna get that we ended up getting. Or maybe I went, I go after these funds sometimes, and so I bring in some funds that we didn't know about during the budget season. So you can see that $45,648.63 is what we brought in. In a transfer. Now, I said typically we don't do a amendment for anything but government, so I'm not sure what that public charge one is, but there must be a reason why it's in there, and I can look it up and find out if we need to. And then, so our revised budget was 2,072. You know it, you can read it, you see it. Now, keep in mind, a budget is a budget, right? It's not actual, it is just a budget, just like any of us make for our own homes. And so some expenses are gonna be higher, some are gonna be lower than what you thought, just exactly what Jay, what you said, things change as you go. So it's a budget, so it's a budget, it's a starting place. So then the fourth column is the actual, that's year-to-date actual revenue received is $2 million there, you see it in the orange. And then the next column is gonna just show you what available budget, that just means money left on the table that we didn't spend, and then your percentages. So that's revenue in a nutshell. And then if you look at expenses below it, so it correlates, right? You have the original budget, you have any transfers that we made, and you can see where those transfers were applied. So any amendments, and then with that final budget, it's the same number as the revenue, right? So that matches. But what's different there is the year-to-date actual expense. So we have our year-to-date actual revenue, and then we have our year-to-date actual expense. And you can see that we have $145,995.28 difference. So it's 7%. That's why I was kind of asking. So we were under budget with our expenses by 7%. So that's not a bad thing.
Good.
But I think when you see the number 145,000, you think, holy cow, that's a lot of money. That's really only 7% out of the whole budget. It's not that much money but it sure sounds like it when you just look at it by itself, right? So let's talk about what some of that money is. That 98,000, we'll come back to that because that one will take a little explaining. The 2375 is interest that we earn on our transportation trust account. The 5,000 was that 5,000 donation that we received from that gentleman for transportation, and we all as a committee made a decision what to do with that. So we're gonna put that into a holding account, and then we're gonna take that out in 2026 and use it as we go. And then the $36,010.94 was donation money. Now, we did use some of our donation. And we also had that fundraiser. You remember the donation campaign, More Than a Meal. So I, could have went two different ways with it. I decided to hold that money and then bring it into the 2026 budget because we're likely gonna need it. And then we had a county levy balance. So if you look up at the general property taxes under revenue, of the $348,072 that the county gave us for levy, we spent all of it but $4,305. That's what you were asking me about, that 1,000? Right, so we received some additional program income money in, and so that levy changed a little bit there, so I think that's pretty darn close, within $4,000 of the balance. So of our, I write down too that of our full revenue amount, of all the revenues, the county levy is 17% of our full revenue allocations. So just as a FYI. So now to explain the $98,000 one, because that one was a little surprising to me. Well, actually, I'm gonna actually point out a few other things first. So if you look under expenses, I highlighted home delivered meals and congregate. Look at what that original budget was for each of those programs. Pretty high, pretty expensive. Look at what the adjusted. Sometimes those amendments come in and you can only use them on certain things like food, for example. And so you have to put them in into the program, whether you need the money or not. And it just means that you're gonna use grant money instead of some other type of money. But you can see, what we actually spent, 320,000 versus 362, so a savings of just shy of 60,000 for home delivered meals. And then for congregate, a savings of 55. So basically, we reduced, like we said we were gonna need, when we wrote the budget again, it was 2024, so you have to remember that was quite some time ago. And, you know, you write this budget, this was at the beginning of us trying to figure out what do we do to save money and how do we go about it. Well, you can see, we did it, we saved over $100,000. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, that doesn't mean all of that is county levy, because you have to remember there's multiple sources of revenue that go into the home delivered and congregate programs. But it is a savings, so we're heading in the right direction. So when we talk about even this, sustaining, you know, yeah, you can see that we're there. But now we have to say, is this 320 and this 221, is that pretty much gonna be what it is on an annual basis now? Is that gonna be sort of stabilized, or is it gonna be fluctuating all over the place? Yeah. So I think it's gonna be stable for some degree. I think we've stabilized, and that's what we were trying to do. You can also see, like, if you look under volunteer transportation, that's the only program that we actually went over budget on. But if you would see the breakout, which I can show you, if you would see the breakout for volunteer transportation, we also went over budget on revenue. Meaning we took in more revenue than we budgeted. So it offsets itself. So you can kind of see like which programs were we really close on and which ones were we not so close on. And then there's reasons why, you know, on certain things. And we'll talk about the ADRC in a bit. That one, excuse me, is a large program and had a lot of fluctuating. If you look down at the health programs down there, 55760, that's $12,000. You think, well, what's that about? Well, we ended up creating a new account, 55755, because we needed to break out the purchase of service from Adams and Green Lake County. So it's really just a shift there. And then Amanda has like 4 or 5 different accounts, and so everything just kind of shifted. If you look at the 55730 account, that's 16,359 is where we started, but when we did all the shifting we needed to, it went down to 7726. So now we're stable there with our new structure and our new setup. So the budgeting should be in line for 2026 and then also for 2027. So does anything jump out at you that you'd like me to try to explain other than the ADRC stuff? Because that's gonna take a minute.
Just a couple, how like sundry revenues, what does that entail?
It's sort of like a miscellaneous type account. I can pull up and then,
Just an example maybe.
yeah, donate, it has like the donation funds in it. It has memory care funds, just random, like sort of miscellaneous stuff.
Then what happens, since you did such a good job of keeping some budget, what happens to the money you saved? Is that?
So, you mean for all of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the $4,304 is county levy. That will roll into our unrestricted account.
It does go back, but
It doesn't go into the general account because we're separate from that, but it's kind of like the general fund, but specific to our department. And then the 36,000 will go into a holding account that we have for people who donate to us. And remember, that includes that 20 or 22,000 of that estate money from that one individual?
22.
Yeah. And then we have a transportation account as well, so we'll put the 5,000 in there. And the interest will go in there as well.
In other words, she doesn't give it back. Once it goes there, she's got it.
Yeah.
Now, is that comes as a surplus at the beginning of the year then for the next budget?
It doesn't come as a surplus. We only bring it into the next budget if we
You're sure?
budgeted to do so.
Oh,
Or if we end up short and I have to ask permission to say, hey, we're gonna need some more money coming out of that fund, which I haven't had to do, but,
I really like the way you did this report.
okay,
I think it's the most comprehensive and easiest to follow.
Okay, good.
Since I've been attending these
since I've
meetings.
been trying to find something.
This is really good.
Okay,
It makes a lot more sense than the.
Yo, without a doubt,
okay. Good,
gets to the meat of the matter.
bottom line, where, yeah, okay, good.
So if somebody leaves you like an estate,
Mhm.
and, they designate it where they want it. If you come in way under, is there any way the county takes that money and set? You know, if you don't spend it?
So right now, the county is allowing us to roll it over and put it into a holding account. If
So
we,
you
if we
would-
don't need it right now, like the estate that Olga left us, the 22,000. We didn't need to use it this year and we had talked about it and decided we were gonna divide it up and so, I'm putting it, I didn't use it this year and I'm putting it into that holding account. And then we'll transfer it into the 2026 budget, the portion that we said we would use each year. Does that make
But
sense?
there's
Yeah.
no, but if you don't use it, there's no way that it gets rolled over into the county somehow? Cause I'm thinking like, if I wanted to leave money to the
Right.
ADRC.
You wanted to.
If you,
Wanted to specifically
Yeah.
leave it in it would never get rolled over
Yeah.
into the county.
I mean, I don't know that I would say never, but they have never done that to us.
No, we're,
Yeah, it has a designated purpose, so I believe the county would honor that designated,
I think they honestly by law
They
have to.
yeah.
Yeah, it's required. If,
Yeah.
if it's designated specifically for a thing, then that's what it gets.
It's the same as if you designate it to your nephew.
Right.
It can't go to your niece. It has to go to him. It's the same thing. And the county is very, very good about honoring those and making sure that they're followed to the T.
Yep. So, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so Barry's gonna, and if you have other questions, ask me, but I'm going to share.
You're in a much better place this year than you were last year.
Yeah,
I think.
okay. Yeah, I don't remember much
You-
about that.
We remember.
All
We had to peel you off the ceiling a few times.
the-
Says content sharing is on the. Oh, you have to do it, okay.
Try it now.
Okay.
You should be able to do it now.
All right, and then I have to go find my document. All right, this one is gonna get a little complicated, but I think it's important that you know this. You've heard me talking about the ADRC and the direct and indirect and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the document I want. Which one do I want? Which document do I want, guys? I'm not sure.
The other one.
I think I do want this one. Okay. So is my little picture in the way? No, all right, so you all can see it. And do we make it bigger somehow, Barry?
I think that's as big as I can get it.
Okay,
Can you see that?
I'll explain it as we go, so if you can't see all the details, you don't think we can get that bigger, huh? Let me see if I can do it on my end.
But I can take you can zoom in, yeah.
Yeah, let me do that. Okay. All right, what this is called a cost pool. I'm actually gonna pull up this other, can I do more at one time, more than one?
Yeah, just.
Cost pool. Okay, this document is what Michelle Marks and Becca do month by month. So every month they come into a cost pool like this. And they're throwing in by employee, the monthly amounts by employee, and then they're looking at right here, these percentages. Okay, this thing is not moving very easily, but these percentages. And so where you see this 45.42 right here It's under the MA column, which means Medicaid. So 45% of Tammy's expense for that month is Medicaid allowable. So that means we can draw down from hers. 11.9% is also allowable at a higher rate. This drawdown right here in this column is 50% drawdown. This is 75% drawdown. And then where it says non-MA, of all of her expenses, this is the amount, 43.39%, that is not allowed. It's not Medicaid related activity, so we can't draw down from the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services additional revenue. So every month we do that. And then we get to this, we have the 13th month where we're putting in the final detail, and then they have a year to date. So you're gonna see right here, this number, 211,292. This is how much revenue we took in just for federal Medicaid match. Based on her face, her chin actually dropped. That's a lot of money, so we don't wanna lose that. We budgeted, I believe, I don't have that on the sheet, but we budgeted around 175,000, so we took in more than we did. So now I took one of those cost pool sheets and I put in our full amount for the year now. And then I put in their average percentages for the entire year of 2025. So we put in Tammy, we put in Gino. Gino was a resource specialist for part of a year. Olivia, Rowan, she was only here for a couple of months. Dan, and then we come down and we start putting in a portion of my time, the health promotion, whatever amount we're charging off to the ADRC contract, we put in here all of the admin support, the fiscal support, all of that. And you can see how it's breaking all of the stuff down by all these percentages across the way, like if I can kind of get your eyes over this way. And so this is a form created by the state and they gave this to us. And so we just put the numbers in and it does all the fancy math. And now we come in and we put in any direct expenses. So we had to pay for utilities last year and copies and all the stuff that Barry charges us for. And then it breaks it down again across all those percentages by ADRC staff, by DBS, by EBS. The EBS, the Elder Benefit Specialist, is actually a separate, we do that on a separate form, and here's where we come into this conversation about indirect versus direct expense. So here, this is the indirect expense, and will this just pop up if I do it? Or do I have to share it? It's not popping up.
Oh, if
is
you
it?
open the other, you have to share it, unless you share the whole screen.
How do you do that?
So stop sharing.
Okay. Okay, I don't know how to do it.
If you move up to the top where the.
Okay, where the
orange
share
bar
button
is,
is?
yeah, just hit stop sharing. And then when you hit share, it should give you the option to share the whole screen.
Yep, you might have to come. Sorry,
No, you're fine.
I'm learning.
So
Oh, up there,
up
okay.
here. And then when you hit share the whole screen, so that.
Everything, I can
And then
jump
that
around.
shares, so you can, everything you do, it'll show that.
Okay, perfect, thank you, Barry. So this right here, we get from the indirect cost auditor. Every year we get one of these, and there's a whole book, I meant to bring the book in, but I forgot. And all departments, every department of the county gets charged an indirect cost, so that's gonna be Megan's time and Rudzowski's time and HR, human resources, and Barry's, and, I don't know if Barry's is in there or not, but however it works, all the time that they build into it. So you can see for us, they break it out between aging and ADRC services. And then the amount comes down here, and right there under ADRC, you're gonna see that 121,922.45. Okay? Let me blow that up a little bit. You see that 121,922.45 right there on the bottom? Okay, so that's what they're telling us for the year 2025 was our indirect costs for The department would be the 203,899 plus the 121. But for the purposes of how we use it, they break it out for us, so we have the ADRC and aging. So the 121 then is what we would put month by month on this line right here, and at the end of the year, it would equal 121,922. Okay? And then when you shake it all down, you get to this bottom, the profile area. This isn't gonna be the exact number because again, I put the whole year together and I just took an average of the percentages. But under the federal amount column, this 211, 298, that's how it shakes down and that's how we find out what our, that's the amount that we received from the federal match. Make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, so now this is the part of the part. There's always been this debate, do we put the full amount in, the full 121,000? Or do we put 10% in? Because a lot of the federal guidelines limit you to 10% of indirect cost. But the ADRC has not done that yet. And we don't know if someday they will or not. I think they would love to do it. But I'll show you what it looks like if we come back up to where the indirect is. Right here is where we had 121,000. Here, let me blow this up. I know it's hard to see. Right here is where we had 121,000. So if they limited us to 12,000, when you come down to the bottom, we're gonna be at 169 rather than 211. Because it's just taking all those percentages and based on Medicaid versus non-Medicaid activity, it's shaking out to the bottom what you'd actually get back. That's a big difference if they were to do that. That's a $42,000 reduction. Now, if you don't put in indirect, I'm gonna blow this up too, increase it, I shouldn't say blow it up, that's an awful word to use, right? If we didn't put in any indirect cost. Oh, this one is what? Oh, I thought this was 0. Well, anyway, that's aging direct. Never mind. Come down here. So instead of putting 121 or 10%, I put in nothing. Then of course it's gonna be even less money that we get back because we're not putting anything in for indirect. So we're at 164. So you can see, we wanna use the indirect expense because we draw down more revenue. It is 100% allowable, 100%. And it was actually the auditor who came to me and said, you should be doing this. And he showed me how to do it. So it is definitely an allowable practice. And I feel confident, especially because Michelle Marks was our financial person for many, many, many years before she retired with Human Service. She was with Human Services, but she was the ADRC fiscal agent for many, many, many years. She has 100% confidence. She knows what she's doing, and so I feel very confident. So now I'm gonna show you 2026, but I'm using the same numbers for 2025. Just because I don't wanna take the time to put in the 2026 numbers. I will at some point. But, let me get this larger too, so you can see. So I'm gonna go ahead and, let me show you this so the 2026 indirect expense that we received from the cost auditor is for 2026 is gonna be 253,000. So it was in 2025 was 121,000. Now it's 253,758. Now, why is that? Well, it's because we have a brand new building and that's why it's that much higher. So now we're gonna use that number. So if I come and I go back to the other document and I put that number in, that's not the right document. There we go. And I put the 253,758 under indirect, and it all does its little magic. We're gonna be at 261,000, and so that's, I don't know if I did that math, I don't think that's right. I think I just made a call, maybe. Yep, must be. So that's a $50,000 increase above what we received this year. So 98,000 excess right now. You add another 50,000 onto that. We got a lot of money.
$30,000 revenue is pretty easy.
Well, but but yes, but no, because it's a different, you can't charge nutrition or whatever off to the ADRC services. So you can only apply to ADRC funding what's allowable under ADRC services funding. But we only had an EBS for half a year. If you look at this and you look under what would say, 55680. You can see that we had a $41,000 balance. It's because we went half a year without an elder benefit specialist. Not quite half a year. We had some insurance changes. You change insurance and you can have a $25,000 shift in your budget just like that. So while the 98,000 sounds like a lot of money, it's not necessarily a lot of money. If we had had the EBS the full year, then you put that 41,000 there, and if the health insurance, and all of a sudden you're up there. However, every expense that we have, when you put it through the cost pool, it brings down additional revenue. Right? So if we put that $41,000 in for our elder benefit specialist, it's still gonna draw down some additional revenue, so there's that balance. So it's a bit of a thing. But I wanted to show you how it works because I'm gonna come to you with the ADRC resolution. And I'm gonna say we started with the most basic ADRC staffing model that we could go with, basic, bare minimum. Because we didn't know for sure, going from a multi-county ADRC to a single county. Now I feel pretty confident, and Michelle says, you're gonna get that every year. I said, I can't have that kind of excess money every year. I was like panicking for a second. But then when I thought about it, it's our staffing model. We went very basic. And we need to make sure that we're applying all the expenses that we can from day-to-day operations to the ADRC budget, the services budget, ADRC services. So as an example, I'm gonna use Lisa as an example. When Lisa works on the website, she's doing time reporting. I'm wondering, does Lisa put half of her time into the ADRC column? Or does she just put all of her time into the agent column? Because I mean, the website is for both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I might even make a case that we get more people going to the website for ADRC services because I get emailed every week 2 to 3 times from people needing assistance, and they all end up going to the ADRC. So maybe we shift that to 75-25.
Yep.
So we have to look at everything that we can and put it towards the ADRC, and that's how we can then shift our county levy lower, hopefully, or at least not increase it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to set us up.
That makes good sense.
Makes good sense, okay. And so the only other thing that has come up about indirect that I have shared at this meeting is that sometimes it's been hard for me to wrap my head around it. Because like, how do you put it down on paper? And I'll just show you one other thing quick, and then we can wrap up this discussion unless you have questions. We'll go here. This is what I call an audit report that I do just to help the auditors show like what funding did we use to offset our expenses. And when you come here to the indirect expense and you look, maybe I can make this a little bit bigger. I know it's probably not that big. When you look at, this is our indirect cost line, so then this is our ADRC account. I used to always put the 121,922 there as an expense because they said it's an in and out. You have 121 expense, you have 121 revenue. So I'd put it as an expense here, and then I'd put it as a revenue here. What I did not know, and I only found out this year because I finally see the last part of how all of this works, is that indirect is actually included month by month in this line. When we do that cost pool every month and we're sending in all the monthly expenses, it's actually being charged to the contract, the ADRC contract, and it's part of the federal drawdown as well. So I was kind of putting it on there twice. I mean, it was shaken out in the end, right? I didn't know that it was, because they said in and out, so I thought they were recording it differently, because I never saw the final part. But now once we're a single county and I can see that last piece, you know, it makes a lot of sense. And so what happens here is, you see that 211,291.74 that I was showing you? Well, that's what our expense was over here where it's yellow, and then that's what our revenue was, the 211, so that's a zero, obviously. But down here, this is different. Down here, this is what we're showing we spent on our contract, out of our contract amount. And our contract, the revenue received, the actual contract amount was 318,276. But we actually reported an expense of 341,894. So we actually overspent on contract. So we were overspent by 23,618. See, this is when I put the glasses on, Jay. But down here, where the indirect is, we have the indirect under aging as well. So there's the 203. I know this. But so we have a balance of 121.92. So we're showing that we received the revenue in and out, right? But the expense is up higher in those other accounts. And so when you take the 121,922 and you subtract the 23 that we were over on contract, that's how we get the $98,000 balance. It is hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
It seems like it should be a wash, but
And that's where I was always struggling so much with that. And now finally, after hundreds of conversations with Michelle, finally the light bulb went on for me and I get it. So there's a lot of reasons that we want to use that indirect for claiming because it brings in a lot of extra revenue, but it also, we want to be really smart about it because if the state were to make a change and all of a sudden, I don't think they would go to 10% anymore. I think they would go to 15%. That seems to be the new amount that the feds are using. All of a sudden we'd have a shocker on our hands, right?
Right.
But for example, we were able to shift half of our newsletter cost from the aging side of funding to the ADRC side of funding. So that's where, if you look at newsletter and you see the adjustment there, you'll see that, you know, so the ADRC was able to pick it up. So that's a big help.
Sure.
Because if we're saving money there, the reason why when I made that change, then it opened up a transfer for me, an allowable transfer of Title III-B funds. So I was able to use that 8,000. I asked permission to transfer from 3B so that we could use our 3B dollars on home delivered meals instead. And so then we actually turned out to be like 11,000 some dollars between some that and some other things. So as long as you know what all the rules are and all the things that you're allowed to do and not allowed to do and all the different transfers and the re-ubs and the de-ubs and all stuff, you can really, it's like playing chess. I mean, it really is. It's like a chess game, which can be kind of fun at times.
Okay. I'm glad.
Knock yourself out.
Oh, wow.
But that's why I was always confused with the indirect. So I wanted to, because I've said it at this meeting more than once and I wanted.
There's probably other things that you could apply to if you started really digging deeper.
Oh, yeah.
You have a better understanding of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Just transfer it over and all that adds up.
Yeah.
So for instance, when you were at the beginning, when you were talking about each individual person
Yep.
and what they bill Medicaid for?
Yep.
Is there any department that's more able to utilize that than others, or? I'm just thinking there must be goals of
I don't know that anybody does it to this extent, but I do believe public health might do some type of, I think they use their indirect to capitalize with grants in some way. And I think human services does to some degree. I don't know if they're doing like a drawdown like we are.
Yeah,
I just don't, I'm not sure. But not every department needs their indirect or uses it, but we do. So, and that's why we do.
yeah.
So, yeah. So with that, that kind of sums up where we're at with the budget.
I'm exhausted just now.
I'm sorry.
And you were going through it all, oh, geez.
Do you have any questions? Or the other thing I would say with that $98,000 is that, so when I come with the resolution, I'm gonna say, hey, we have some money. We have some movement here. You see it now. And, I'm gonna propose a staffing model. One of the examples, I think I said it last month, but I'm not sure, is I wanna be able to pull Lisa from phones at least one day a week so that she can be doing some other
Yeah.
financial things or other support to transportation or things like that. So that then I can give more to Becca of the financial thing, so that I don't have to have my light on after.
Yes,
everybody
yes.
else is gone.
And one day a week, it's, you know,
Yeah. So that will be one thing I'm gonna build into that 98 for sure.
What about even like cross-training for your job? You know, more and more of that, is that a?
Yep, so that is what's happening. So Becca's taking on more and more, and for financial things, we want two people, at least two
Yep.
people to understand every step.
Yep.
So, yeah. So to the degree that we're able to, I mean, you can't do every little thing, but I mean,
Sit side by side, all we want.
right. But what I wanna say with that 98,000 is that there is currently 0 pennies of direct county levy attached to ADRC services, 0 pennies. There is indirect county levy, but there is 0 direct levy in our budget. So what that means to me is that we're never gonna get it to the penny, right? So we're always gonna be below or above. So as long as we always have a little bit of a balance, and as long as the county lets us have a fund to put that little bit of a balance, that way, if we ever do have a really bad year for some reason,
sure.
like when the pandemic hit, our claiming went way down. We still had the expense, but our claiming went way down. So, that way there's a little like security there so that we can go to that fund if we need to offset that, because there is no levy. Direct levy, I should say, Emma. So. That is as transparent as I can be right now. And if you want to know more specific details about what's in each of these categories, happy to show you.
Oh, would you please?
Yeah, right now, I have it right there, if you want to see that. Oh. But yeah, otherwise, that's the end of that.
All right. Well,
Good job, Deb.
yeah, thank you very much.
Would it come with a free root canal too?
Well, you used to do budgets, so you know it can be, yeah.
Pull your hair out.
Oh, I bet.
I won't show you this, but like, there's a detailed history report that I run often. And it shows every transaction, including payroll. I wanna say it's like, 75,000 transactions that make up all this different stuff, like, maybe not that much, but seems like a lot, so.
I think it's just hard enough to keep everybody situated with, okay, this part of my time is for this and this part.
Yeah.
That alone takes a whole bunch
Yes,
of
it
time.
does, yes, it does,
Building process for that.
yeah.
Incredible.
Right, which Michelle has helped really, I mean, we all have these time reporting sheets now, and then she has it all just automatically coming into a summary sheet. And then she can write these formulas, I don't know if any of you use
It's
Excel.
amazing that.
She can write these formulas are like, if this, then that, but if the other thing, then, you know, and all the things, and it's like,
Yeah.
holy cow. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's impressive.
And it saved us so much time and so much money.
Let's roll into something that's light. Not entirely, but input on replacing condensing unit on the walk-in freezer.
Okay, so I mentioned last month that we had a little issue with our freezer. And,
Kept the food outside.
yes, we kept the food outside and that turned out to be really good, that it was freezing cold. But it turned out, I didn't know a lot about it at the time, but it turned out that it was connected to the condensing unit. The condensing unit, we do have in our capital improvement plan for this year, 2026, to replace. A lot of times it's hard for me to replace something if it's not broken, but I think a condensing unit for a freezer is something we probably
Use that food.
should just move forward with and replace, even though we fixed it. But I wanted to get your input on it. We do have it in the plan. However, I was talking to Mike, our facilities guy. When we order it and something else, I don't remember what he said, and then they're both here. I said, will it take just one day? And he said, no, you probably should plan for at least 2 days. So thought I would talk about it with this group to see what your ideas are onto how do we do this? How do we,
2 days of downtime then, actually?
is what I'm thinking, yeah.
You need a reefer.
And so do we like pick a time, like order it, have it here, pick a time, and then just try to get that freezer as low as we can?
And then
Like that
whatever
means all of our,
sites,
just have what the basic that we need in
I
there?
mean, yeah, but I mean, can some of that stuff go to the meal sites then too, with their refrigeration
I
units? or-
mean, we don't, they're just home style with the little,
Yeah, they just have.
we're talking about a huge.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, as far as the drawdown,
Yeah, how much is in there? A lot?
it's a lot.
So it's pretty much a constant all year round, there's not low ebbs and.
Yeah, no, and then we do like our frozen meals as well that we ship out every weekend.
what at the pantry?
Like, would they have a freezer, you mean?
Well, I know, I've worked there on Fridays, they do have freezers
Yeah,
and stuff.
that we could use is what you're saying? Okay,
I think that would be,
possibility.
yeah,
Yeah, or if we did in the summer, maybe the schools.
there you go.
Oh.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
I didn't think of that until now.
This year, though, they're regrouping everything. It's gonna be a nightmare over there.
Oh, really?
Yes, because they're closing Riverview and moving over to Parkside. It's gonna be bad.
Oh,
And then they're taking some of the sixth, seventh, and eighth grade and moving them over to the high school. So,
Expense wise, you're gonna have, if you take it to other sites, you're gonna have some transportation expenses,
Yeah.
probably some spoilage, maybe. How expensive is it to do a refrigerated trailer? Is it a rental? Is that?
oh, yeah, what about that?
I have no idea, but that's a great suggestion.
That is. a
Yeah.
good-
I thought what she suggested. Is that, you said a reefer?
Oh, is that what you said, Lisa?
Mhm.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, can look into that. And then don't do it in the summer, do it maybe,
Yeah, in the fall, but then again,
might be a little cooler.
yeah,
but you know, if that's iffy of how long that's gonna last,
Yeah,
it happened to me and we lost almost $30,000 worth of food.
yeah, wow. Where was
It
that
happened
at?
in the summer.
Was that at the school?
Well, my school to work transition program, we teach food service.
Yeah,
And so we had summer school for so long and then no one was there.
right.
So you don't want.
So
that to
we
happen.
might wanna get on this sooner than later
Yeah.
is what you all are
Yeah,
thinking.
I wouldn't,
Don't wait till the
even
end
if
of the
it's
year.
fixed
How
for
expensive
now.
is it? Is it?
So I have 15,000 budgeted. I haven't done any recent,
so that's not cheap, that's a condenser.
yeah,
Let's look at the labor cost just for 2 days alone, that's gonna be up there.
right, right. I hope I have enough budgeted
Yeah.
then, but.
It's cost you even more if that sucker goes and that food's in there.
I know,
No kidding.
And then you still have to have it done. It's
Yeah.
one of those, to me, it's one of those maintenance things that,
That you just.
we should just do it. Let's get on it, get it over with, see if we can,
Yeah, as long as we already have the money
yeah,
allocated.
exactly.
might wait.
Yeah, I totally agree,
Okay,
cause otherwise you're gonna be staring down a barrel of a big problem.
Mhm.
yeah, I know.
You know, life is.
It really made me think, goodness, it was freezing
No
cold.
doubt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cause I mean, we have at least $10,000 in that freezer at the minimum. Yeah,
What about plates? Don't they have that, freezer truck? The one that guy got locked in at the fair?
Guy got locked in it?
Oh, yeah. We learned that at that
Jeez.
breakfast when he was talking about
Oh
the
my
fair.
gosh. Is it pretty big?
I know
I
it
don't
sounded
know.
like it was
Who owns it?
plates.
It's worth asking.
Yeah, they use it, yeah, for the fair.
Right.
He was went in to get something and didn't realize that the door blocked behind him. He was there.
Oh, it does make me nervous when I go in our freezer
Mhm.
at the kitchen.
Oh, I
Cause
was,
I'm usually doing a favor for somebody and, oh, could you go run over there and put something away?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, please don't walk behind me.
Yeah.
Yes.
It'll be a long weekend.
Plenty of food to eat though. Frozen. Warm it up.
yeah, they had that, and, I don't know how long ago that was that happened, but
Well, it wasn't very long ago at all.
was it?
Is that
No,
refrigerated?
because Heidi, wasn't she the one that realized that nobody's seen Guy?
Yeah,
Fawkes?
where's that?
And the last she knew, yeah, well, he tried to,
Mm.
Yeah.
but she said the last I knew he said, the last she knew he was going to do something with the freezer.
Oh,
And
gosh.
she put one in the,
Oh.
and he said, it was pretty cold. Yeah, it was pretty cold. when it
I
came
bet.
out."
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I'm sure you.
Check out flights first, I think, because they're
Yeah,
really good at
he
doing
said,
things for community. They might just,
Okay.
because didn't he say, then he talked to him and asked him for a truck without a lock on it?
I'll talk to Mike about getting some updated, like, putting out the bid and then, we'll go from there. But I'll call around and see.
That might be a
Good idea.
possibility. They're always trying to do
Yeah.
the volunteer stuff and,
Yeah, and we can obviously scale it down
yeah.
and then get rid of a lot of meals and then just have extra staff the following week to mass produce.
Get back up.
Yep.
Yeah,
Backfill.
yeah, okay, yeah,
The trucking company out past the high school
okay.
also has
Island?
freezer, yes,
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the name. Refrigerated trailers, or they have a freezer warehouse too.
Wow.
Yeah. they
If you
do.
can't find a trailer here.
Okay,
The trailer comes in, you can just load it up if you have to.
Yeah, it'd be
take it
easier to
somewhere.
get it here.
yeah,
You gotta load it up,
Just
get
in
it there,
case.
unload it, bring it back in.
Another
Yeah.
possibility.
Yeah.
okay,
Gotta do what you gotta do.
good. Thank you so much for the input. I appreciate it.
do we have any suggestions for our future agenda?
I'm sure there are things I'm just blanking at the moment, but yeah.
They'll be coming up.
So the resolutions, the new nutrition resolution, I don't think I'll have the ADRC one done, but I might have the nutrition one done by next month, so we could do that. For sure, that's one thing. And I'm sure there's other things I can't think at the moment.
Anything else from anybody? As we're looking, let's see, it was snowing big flakes before, now it's just a little,
No, it's just
little
nothing.
accumulation, so.
I've been watching it.
So I guess,
Just a quick question. You said you're kind of working with the food pantry a little bit, or?
Yeah.
Do we have a real good connection with them? Or is there something we could do better with them?
We have a decent connection with them. We used to have a really good one when Marty Lee was but, yeah, I've met with them a few times, but I don't know, it's just maybe different a little bit because,
Tyler's fairly new, and I
Yeah.
think he's still trying to
Yeah.
figure it out, but he's doing a good job. I mean, he's changed some things up now. Before, it used to be volunteer just showed up, or they didn't show up. Now he's got a schedule.
okay,
So, which some people don't like, they're like, hey, I'm volunteering my time, right, kind of tell me when I gotta be here. But you sign up for it, so,
yeah,
Yeah, you gotta be able to operate though.
Yeah.
yeah.
So you can't.
But I mean, there's certain things
They
that,
just show up when they feel like it.
yeah, and you're, after a while, you begin tripping over each other because and sometimes, he's kind of got a good problem to have. He's got almost an abundance of volunteers right now. But the thing is, you're trying to train people to do it and then they don't show up. Now you're taking someone from over here and putting them in there, but the county has a pretty good relationship with them.
I just wonder if there's a better way we can work together and utilize.
That's really a good, yeah, because they have resources too that we don't have. People make, huge donations. I mean, things like, right now, especially because obviously potatoes from last year are kind of getting old. They recently got, probably about a 4x4 bin probably about 5 feet high. They got 2 of those full of potatoes,
So,
Wow.
full.
yeah,
And to the point where they're like, how do we use this in a timely fashion so they're not sprouting everywhere and stuff? So maybe that's something
Yeah.
that you guys could utilize too, things like that.
and we used to have that with Marty Lee. She would just call us. She'd be like, I have, 2 crates. of-"
Maybe Tyler's just not aware of it.
Yeah, so we probably need to look at that. So thank you for that suggestion. Good.
But there, I know for a fact, like, 2 weeks ago, we were giving double milks to everybody because the expiration was coming up.
Okay.
And then the next week, there was no milk, so I mean, it's just weird how that works out, but I mean, obviously that wouldn't benefit you with the milk unless you're using it, incorporating in your cooking process, but
Yeah,
for other things though, vegetables have to be used.
I mean, they can always call us if we can use it for production.
I'll let them know, I'll
Yeah.
tell them that. Because we've been giving out some oddball things of vegetables that I don't know where they're coming from, but
Yeah.
there's like a turnip in there, a couple of carrots, a couple of stalks of celery, and it's like, here you go, in your bag of goodies, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we can put that on Ruth's list. She's our community partnership development person, so. Get her
It's a
on.
good suggestion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's really a good idea though.
yeah.
Cause I thought about the same thing. I mean, because they're kind of out there on their own,
yeah,
but yet they're not. But when you're not connected to this building, it's a different
well, do you
process.
know Jan Novak? Have you met her?
No,
No, so she's on the board for the food pantry and she sends me a lot of emails too, so there is that connection. But I don't know that she's not working it day to day either.
Yeah.
So.
Another thing might be for Ruth to come to one of the West Share Gardeners meetings. We now have set up beds behind the food pantry and they've got this whole thing going.
there could be adding a whole bunch more now
Right,
that's coming here.
Right, but it might be such a thing, like a lot of times, a lot of us will have extra zucchini or tomatoes or whatever. It would be nice if they came and talked to the group and let them know, hey, here we are.
Mhm.
Okay.
Put something in the source also. I ran across somebody too that I said, well, if you have all that extra,
Yeah,
get it over here. Oh, I didn't know I could do that.
Right.
Yes, please.
so that was the gardeners?
West Share Gardeners,
Okay.
used to be the Master Gardeners.
Okay,
Kathy Shaw is in charge. And I can get your contact for that.
okay.
In fact,
They get some strange donations. I mean,
Yeah.
people, I'm sure get this stuff and go, what the heck do I do with that? A couple weeks ago, we were giving away tomahawk steaks.
Oh,
Those are ribeyes with that giant bone on them.
yeah.
They're like $60-some a
Where
piece.
did you get them from?
Someone donated them.
somebody, yeah.
And I'm like, so now we put this in this guy's thing and he's gonna like, what do I do with it? I'm like, grind that up and make some burgers. I'm like, oh. I was like, okay, but I know what I would do with it.
Well, you can-
I would get lost for a day and get them away from my wife and eat that thing. They're amazing. But I mean, there again, we had like, 6 of them. So it's like, what 6 people out of the 100 that came today gets that,
Oh,
Sure, yeah.
you have to hold that big back, cause
Yeah.
figure out who you're gonna give it to.
Get the grill going out and back and feed the
Get your
volunteers that could.
smell the grill.
When was it, when they were dumping milk and the food pantries are taking, they
Oh,
were
yeah.
taking it all. But I don't remember why they were doing that.
Because the cost of milk had dropped so much. That the
Oh.
farmers are like, screw it, it's gonna cost more to process it than it is to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should probably, because we're still being recorded here, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Entertaining a motion to adjourn.
I'll make it.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you for coming.